Picture this. You're driving late at night, you're exhausted, and you just want to get home. We've all been there, right? Well, in today's explainer, we're diving straight into a truly chilling narrative about exactly that scenario. We're going to unpack the eerie tale of Daniel Harper and his family, who, while just trying to take a secluded mountain shortcut, stumble headfirst into a malevolent supernatural trap. This is the Black Creek Trap. And honestly, it serves as a haunting cautionary warning about the hidden dangers of the unknown and what literally happens when we try to outsmart the road. So let's break down exactly how this phantom route springs shut. It all kicks off with a sentence I know I've said a million times. GPS says we'll save almost an hour if we take this road. It's a cold, super rainy October evening. The Harper family, you've got Daniel driving, his wife Emily navigating, and their 10-year-old son Ethan fast asleep in the back. They're just trying to shave some time off their trip. So Daniel makes a turn onto State Route 66, rolling right past this totally weathered, beaten-up sign welcoming them to the Black Creek Highway. It's a completely mundane, relatable decision. But what they don't realize is that this totally innocent desire to just save a little time, that is exactly the bait this phantom route uses to pull you in.
And man, the isolation sets in fast. The very first red flag, a sign that simply reads, "Next gas station, 48 miles." Within just a few minutes, every single sign of civilization gets swallowed up by these dark, endless forests. Half an hour goes by, then 45 minutes, and they haven't seen a single house, not one other car. Emily checks her phone, absolutely 0 bars. They are completely cut off. So when they finally spot this dingy little gas station with a flickering open sign, you'd think it'd be a relief, right? Well, it turns out to be anything but a beacon of safety.
Because almost immediately their reality begins to distort. They walk in and find fully stocked shelves, but they're covered in a thick layer of dust. There's a pot of steaming, freshly brewed coffee sitting right there, yet there is absolutely no one around. 0 employees. Daniel calls out to see if anyone's in the back, and in response, the cash register just violently rings entirely on its own. They understandably freak out and hustle back to the car. But as they're peeling out, young Ethan wakes up in the back seat and says he just saw someone standing behind the counter. Daniel slams on the brakes, checks the rearview mirror, and the gas station is just gone. Not shrinking in the distance, literally gone. The normal rules of the world are already starting to break down. And this bizarre encounter quickly escalates into a totally impossible temporal anomaly. 11:47. That specific time becomes an absolute nightmare for the Harpers, because as they keep driving for what feels like hours through pitch blackness, Emily checks her phone screen. 11:47 p.m. Daniel glances down at the dashboard clock. 11:47 p.m. Even Ethan's little digital watch in the back seat is completely permanently frozen at exactly 11:47 p.m. I mean, chronological progression has just ceased to exist. Think about it. They started driving around 11 p.m. By 11:47 p.m., time just hits a brick wall. Hours and hours later, they are still trapped in this endless night. The road hasn't just disconnected them from the rest of the world, it has literally disconnected them from time itself. And the physical impossibilities? Oh, they don't stop with the frozen clocks. The fuel gauge never moves, not a millimeter. The Harpers are driving for hours upon hours. By the time the sun absolutely should be coming up, the sky is still pitch black. Daniel suddenly realizes the SUV's engine has been running for close to 10 hours straight, yet they haven't burned a single drop of gasoline. The car is running, but it's completely detached from the laws of physics. They're burning no fuel, they're making 0 progress, and time is just standing still. But here's the thing. The road isn't just a physical trap. It is a deeply psychological one. The real auditory horror kicks off with these terrifying ghostly voices. First, Daniel hears a whisper right next to his ear that sounds exactly like his wife, Emily, but she hasn't even opened her mouth. Then, from the back seat, Ethan hears the voice of his grandmother. The problem? Emily's mother passed away 7 years ago. Pretty soon, these soft, patient voices start calling out each of their names from the pitch-black woods outside the car. Unseen entities out there in the dark are perfectly mimicking their loved ones, just testing their sanity, trying to bait them out of the vehicle. And as if the psychological torment isn't enough, the spatial distortions are just maddening. They drive past a roadside sign that reads, Black Creek, 5 miles. Okay, you think, finally, we're getting somewhere. But 5 minutes later, they pass another sign with the exact same text, and then another. It's like they're on a giant, terrifying treadmill. These paradoxical signs keep promising the destination is just 5 miles away, but no matter how fast or how long they drive, they don't get a single inch closer. The dread completely redlines when the car radio suddenly clicks on by itself. Cutting right through the dead static, this incredibly calm voice delivers a warning. If you hear your name, do not answer. And literally the second the transmission cuts out, a voice from the dark woods screams Daniel's name, and it sounds identical to his brother, who lives hundreds of miles away. Then it screams Emily's name, then Ethan's. The poor kid covers his ears, realizing the ultimate horror here. Whatever is out there in the dark knows exactly who they are. Now, to really grasp what the Harpers are trapped in, we need to talk about the concept of a liminal space. Basically, it's a transitional, in-between state, a completely distorted reality where the normal, everyday rules of time, space, and existence just do not apply. This isn't just a spooky stretch of forest. The Black Creek Highway has become a literal void between realities. The frozen clocks, the infinite fuel, the looping road signs, the ghostly voices, these are all classic symptoms of an environment that exists entirely outside the boundaries of the natural world. So they keep driving, right? Because what else can you do? And suddenly, another gas station emerges from the heavy fog. But it is the exact same gas station from before. Same flickering sign, same dusty shelves. Except this time, there is an old man standing behind the counter, and he's wearing a highway patrol uniform straight out of the 1960s. When Daniel frantically runs up and asks what the hell this place is, the old man just gives the sad smile and reveals a horrifying truth. The road they are driving on, it actually collapsed 43 years ago. It doesn't even exist anymore. Obviously, Daniel nervously laughs it off, calling it impossible, but then the old man points down at the counter to the ultimate paradoxical sign. There's a dusty newspaper resting there, and the bald headline reads, "Family of 3 disappears on Black Creek Highway." What makes your blood run cold, though, is the date printed at the top. It's dated for tomorrow. And right underneath that headline is a photograph of Daniel, Emily, and Ethan, looking exactly as terrified and exhausted as they do in that exact moment. Daniel looks up in absolute shock, and the old man is gone. The entire station instantly looks like it's been rotting and abandoned for decades. Full-blown panic sets in. Daniel sprints back to the SUV and absolutely floors it. He pushes that car to 90 miles per hour, then 100, then 101. But it doesn't matter. It does absolutely no good. As he tears through the endless dark, the tree line never shifts, and they just keep blowing past the exact same mile marker, mile 66, over and over again. The spatial loop has tightened around them. They are completely trapped in this inescapable cycle, flying at over 100 miles an hour while essentially standing dead still inside a liminal nightmare. And as they loop, a horrifying realization hits them. They aren't the first ones caught in this. Looming out of the fog is a grim roadside graveyard. Hundreds of abandoned cars are parked perfectly on the shoulder, their headlights glowing eerily through the mist. Every single driver's door is left wide open, and the interiors, completely empty. Well, almost empty. In the backseat of one rusted red sedan, they spot a smiling 8-year-old girl. She looks right at them and says, "You're almost there," before literally vanishing into thin air. It's just this massive, chilling monument to all the travelers who sought an easy path, only to be completely consumed. The whole looping nightmare hits its breaking point when those whispers outside turn into deafening screams. Faces start physically manifesting the tree trunks. Hands literally reach out toward the car from the thick fog. The road ahead twists impossibly, looping back on itself in a way gravity just shouldn't allow. And then the dead GPS finally flickers back to life. But there's no map. It just displays 2 desperate, glowing words: "Turn back." Daniel slams on the brakes, hard. And for the first time in what feels like 20 hours, the SUV actually screeches to a complete stop. The silence that follows is deafening. Then, a slow, deliberate knock on Emily's window. Daniel leans over, looking past his own terrified reflection in the glass, and sees himself. It's a sinister doppelganger. The thing is caked in wet mud, its eyes are completely pitch black, and it's wearing this wide, entirely unnatural smile. The real Daniel, exhausted, terrified, trapped inside, just has to sit there, completely paralyzed, as this nightmarish copy stares right back into his soul. The duplicate presses its face near the glass and utters just one chilling phrase: "Don't keep us waiting." And this is when the true, horrifying twist of this phantom route reveals itself. Because emerging from the dark fog, stepping up right behind that duplicate Daniel, are hundreds of identical copies of his family. Literally hundreds of Daniels, Emily's, and Ethan's, all wearing that exact same sinister, unnatural smile. So, what does this all mean? Well, this highway operates on a very specific, very sinister protocol. Think of it like a machine. First, it lures impatient drivers with the promise of a time saving shortcut. Second, it traps them in a frozen liminal space where time and resources just halt. Third, it slowly breaks their minds using spatial loops, paradoxical signs, and those ghostly voices. And finally, the endgame, it doesn't just want to kill you, it aims to substitute the living with these sinister doppelgangers. The road was never just trying to hold the family, it was actively trying to replace them, so its own monstrous creations could walk out into our world. And sadly, we know exactly how effectively this protocol works because of the real world aftermath. Weeks later, rescue workers finally found the Harper's SUV abandoned right at the entrance to the old, collapsed Black Creek Highway. Bizarrely, the engine was still warm to the touch. But inside, just 3 empty seats. The driver's door was left wide open, and most chillingly of all, there were absolutely 0 footprints leading away from the vehicle in the soft mud. It stands as a bleak testament to the road's hunger. The Harpers weren't just lost, they were swallowed whole. So, what's left behind in the real world to stop this from happening again? Honestly, just a faded, weathered sign near where the car was found that reads, "Road closed permanently. Do not enter." But as the source material points out, most travelers just ignore it. I mean, to a tired driver on a rainy night, desperate to get home, the shortcut always looks faster. They see the sign, they blindly trust their GPS, and they choose the easy path. Completely unaware they are driving straight into a malevolent, supernatural trap that has been quietly catching impatient souls for over 4 decades. Which brings us to a final, provocative question for you to chew on. The next time your GPS suggests some unknown shortcut through the dark woods, are you going to take it just to save a little time? Or will you remember Daniel Harper and the Black Creek Highway? I really hope this explainer sheds some light on the hidden dangers of the unknown and why sometimes taking the long way around is literally the only way you survive. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Stay safe out there on the roads, folks.